My name is Chetna Shetty. It's my story of how I got from Rattlesnake to the top of the highest mountain on the lower 48. I was part of this hiking group, and I had friends in it who would take their girlfriends on top of the mountains, and they would wear these beautiful dresses in the snow, spectacular scenery. And I was like, wow, that is awesome, you know. And I was like, I'm not wearing a dress. It's like, not my style. I said, why not drape a sari? It's like, it's my culture. I look forward to getting up on a summit. Pulling out a sari, especially if the conditions are good, like there's no crazy wind or bad weather. I went to Mailbox and draped a sari. Went to Camp Muir, draped a sari. Reached the top of Helens on a beautiful day. Probably spent an hour there draping a sari and going around the entire rim of the section of the crater. I used to be almost 200 pounds, and I lost the weight, but I wasn't hiking. I lived in a place that within 20 minutes I had so many trails accessible. I just quit my gym membership. It became all about outdoors. I started building my endurance up. To get better at hiking, you need to hike a lot, and you need to keep pushing yourself. Every time I think that I've met my threshold, like maybe I can go further or do something crazier, I do it. I set another goal. This year I wanted to get a 14er. That was before my 40th birthday kind of thing. I tried Shasta. We had to turn around because my partner got altitude. Then we tried Rainier, and I got altitude. So I was like, these 14ers were, giving me so much grief. Like, in spite of all the training and carrying the weight, And I said, no, I'm going to give it another shot. So I got permits for Whitney. Close to the climb, half my team dropped out. Most people do it in 2 days because your body has time to rest and acclimatize. But we decided to do a one-day climb. We started at 11 in the night climbing. We get to this section called the 99 switchbacks. That was hard. So we got up to the switchbacks, and then I was like, yay, I was at 13 something, and I was like, I got this. I felt good. You could see the little hut. So on top of Whitney, there's a hut. That's like the landmark. But it just felt so far away. Like, I remember those are the longest 2 miles because you're already so tired. It's like a one-day push. You're probably climbing already 8 to 10 hours at that point. And you still need to come back down the whole mountain on the same day. I got up there by 11, and I was so happy. I felt like I broke that barrier that my body was struggling with to get above 13,000. That moment was huge. I celebrated by draping a sari up there. When did I become this person who was okay with pushing herself so much mentally and physically and not giving up? Sometimes you feel like, are you an imposter? Like, this is not what women of my age, of my demographic are doing. But I'm like, why not me? At one point, your mind wants to give up so bad. It just wants to give up because your body is hurting. Like, every single muscle in your body is hurting. And you're like, it's not fun. When you're carrying 50 pounds going up a hill with crevasses all around you, it is not fun. But you're like, when you get to the top and you realize, you did it. I've climbed Helens in one-day push, Adams in one-day push, Mount Baker in one-day push. Attempted Rainier, had to turn around at 13,200 due to altitude. Did Mount Whitney, which was the highest in the lower 48, in a one-day push. My goals for next year is to go back, finish Rainier, go back and finish Shasta, and maybe climb a few 14ers in Colorado.